5. Hey, so this is Pam Perry, and I am so excited to be with you. Comeback Champions 2021 is going to be your year. I feel it, claim it, put a stake in it, and know it. So, who is Pam Perry? Who is this lady? So, I am a publicist by trade for 3 decades. Yes, 3 decades. Started when I was about, 5 years old. And I am now really a master publicity strategist and brand strategist for primarily speakers and authors. Most of my career before I started my business 20 years ago, Ministry Marketing Solutions, worked with PR agencies, nonprofit. I was the director of public relations for the Salvation Army and the Charles H. Wright Museum, and worked on clients like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, done all kind of things, everything in PR you possibly can do. Obviously, I worked on some automotive clients as well. So I've accumulated a lot of media contacts over the years by working with major brands. When I worked with like the Salvation Army, you could say Salvation Army, and primarily it's a brand well known, media will call you back. Working for African American, the largest African American museum at that time, you call a media reporter, they will answer. Working with clients like McDonald's, working with clients like Ford, working with clients like Dunkin' Donuts, major brands, media will call you back. So I said, you know what? I can do this. In 2000, I said, I'm going to start my own PR firm and I'm going to do this myself. Well, the clients I had weren't necessarily those big name clients at that time. So you would call the media and you say you're calling regarding someone they haven't heard of, they're not going to call you back. Real big shock, because at one point in time, I'm working in the media. I have had a media track record. I used to work for the Free Press. I know reporters. I worked in television stations. I worked at radio stations. But the clients that I had, because I wanted to work with speakers and authors that weren't well known, they did not call me back. So that's when I said they need to build their brand just like McDonald's built their brand. They need to build their brand just like Dunkin' Donuts built their brand. They need to build their brand just like Starbucks, just like all the rest. So that's why I call myself a master publicity and brand strategist. You can't get publicity until you have a brand. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about publicity and branding and how that really can happen for you and help you as a speaker and as an author. So it's more than pictures, it's more than graphics, it's more than social media, it's more than being Facebook famous or Instagram celebrity. It does take a concentrated, deliberate mind to think like the media, think like a producer, think like a publisher, think like a journalist. Because what at the bottom line, they're going to wonder, who cares? Who cares? They're not trying to help you sell a book. They're not trying to get you booked as a speaker. They want to know your story. So, as a master publicist, what we do is we help people flesh out hooks, angles, and give it a spin. You hear that PR people are spin doctors. Yeah, we're spin doctors, but we have to spin it so that it works for the media and works for the client. So, we're in the middle of that whirlwind, trying to make the client happy because they want the media, and trying to make the media happy because they want a good story. So, how do you find that in the middle? Now, my background, I'm a journalist by training. That was what I went to school for. Worked for the Free Press for 7 years before I went into the PR room. So I know how journalists think. I actually published a magazine, Speakers Magazine. This is not the first magazine that I've actually published. I've published 2 Christian publications and then also a local Detroit publication. This is the 4th publication that I've published, and this is now 4 years old. This one seemed to click. The other two Christian magazines were too narrow of a focus. So, not that I don't have Christians in Speakers Magazine, but it's not just a Christian publication. So, what we want to talk about today is really how your PR game is going to up level in 2021. How are you going to make this come back? Now, I will say this, I do teach people a little bit about social media, but I don't really go in on social media as much as I really want as other people may, because I'm old school. I'm an OG PR person. So OG meaning like there's more credibility when you are on someone's television, radio, or in their print publication, magazine, or newspaper because it's vetted. It's vetted by a journalist who has done a story. It's not what you say, it's what they say. It says not so much what you say, but what other people say. And the other people, if they have the power of the pen or the power of the camera or the power of their airwaves, that's what matters because they are giving you that third party credibility. So, in the eyes, when you're positioned in the marketplace, it's not all like, oh, I'm saying I'm so wonderful. I'm posting my pictures all over the place. Aren't I wonderful on Instagram? Yeah, anybody can do that, but not everybody can pitch themselves to an ABC, an NBC, a PBS, a Spectrum, a Cox Media Group, Time Magazine, People Magazine, whatever, and get shine because it takes a little bit of steps on how to do that. The basis of it, just like what any journalist would do, any publicist would do, is really deciding the hook, the message, the overall arching of the angle. How are we coming at it? Sometimes around certain times of the year, if it's February, we're going to talk about Black History Month, so maybe we'll have that Black History angle. Or it's Heart Association, it's Heart Health Month. We're going to talk about heart, how that relates to your message. Or we're talking about Valentine's Day, how that relates to your message. So sometimes those are easy picks. Women March, Women's History Month. So you're going to do a pitch around that because producers, editors, and publishers and things, they're looking for those hooks because those are the things that are going to be trending. So I will say this before I go any further. If you want to be in the news, you got to listen to the news and know how it works. Have to know how it works. You have to know who are the anchors, what do they cover, what are their beats? Read the newspaper. Who is your lifestyle editor? Who's your business editor? If you're a minister, who's your religion editor? You should know those things. If you're in a town that has a Black newspaper, what is the Black newspaper publisher's name? How long have they been in business? What are their beats? What are the sections? Just simple things, because when you're pitching, you have to know who you're pitching to and what that media is about. And there's some tools that I use that I can help people navigate that. I teach that in my Ready, Set, Go, Speak program. We do that often where we go in and we bring the media to them to speak to them, to let them know this is what I'm looking for. This is my contact information. You can send me things, and these are the things that I would like to spotlight and highlight for you. So knowing the media, hearing what they want, you're filling an order. Don't think of PR as that tool like a social media, like this is a thing that's going to get me customers or get me money. It's thinking about it like a producer, from an editor, from a standpoint of a reporter, because what you're really trying to do is position yourself above the fray, above the noise, as someone that's like, I'm not here to hawk. I'm not here to sell. I'm not here to hustle. I'm here to deliver a story, to bring value, information, entertainment, or education. And that's what the media wants. They are there. The media themselves want you to then share it out, obviously, the story out. And once you share it out to your social, that's a good thing. That's fine. But don't think of the media as a vehicle that is going to be your direct pipeline to sales. Keep it that it is a mechanism for sharing entertainment, information, and value. And don't like, oh, by the way, in the book it is. Oh, by the way, you can go to Amazon and get it. Oh, by the way, that's a commercial. That's an ad. They will shut you down. Okay, because that's a different place. It's not a Facebook ad. We're talking about you're going on a segment on a television station, or you're going on someone's radio show and you're doing a talk show. So it is conversation that is for the audience, not for you to sell something. Clear? Okay. All right. So let me share a screen of just give you a little bit of a backstory of some of the things that have happened over the 2 decades of Ministry Marketing Solutions. So the Pam Perry PR is where you find everything that you ever need. You'll find the blog, and you actually could go and sign up and get the 7 tips or there's 7 things that media need when you're pitching them. And there's 7 basic things. And, some of them are obviously a press release, and you need a one sheet, you need good photos. And so I go over all 7 and why they're important. So you can go there and sign up. But some of my clients have been featured in Associated Press. Like I said, I've worked for the Free Press, Detroit Free Press. So knowing journalists is really helpful. Essence Magazine, MSNBC, NBC, PBS, Radio One, Wall Street Journal. Being working for the clients that I've worked for, they've been the gamut of everything, even Oprah. When I worked for the Salvation Army, we were on Oprah. And I got to go to the show and meet her and all that kind of stuff. This is way back in the day. So I have, like I said, the Ready, Set, Go Speak program. You can see that there. There's a podcast that I did last year called the Digital Business Acceleration. And I did this from the standpoint of really talking about branding with my clients, because you need a brand before you can get PR, and then PR will help you with your marketing. Your marketing will then turn into your sales. So, but what I found is that people really didn't have a good online brand or system. So the Digital Business Acceleration pre-COVID really showed my people, especially, the tools and things that they need in order to get going so they don't look raggedy online. Like just put WordPress and things like that. So I did 52 podcasts on that. Okay. I like to do podcasts. Speakers Magazine, like I said, this is 3 years old in the making, have had great success with this. People who have been on the covers have gotten a lot of shine. You see Dr. Venus is on there. She has gone on and now become like an entertainer, and she's got her Hot Mess Millionaire series. Les Brown, obviously, and then that's John Leslie that's over there with the glasses on. Sherwood is just blown up. Felicia Davis, love her. She is extraordinary. So everybody has their own niche. And what I like about the people, and Becky Davis this month was on Fox Soul TV this month. So besides being in the magazine, I also do the PR for their events or for their programs on the ones that are on the magazine. So that's part of it as well. So it's not just being a magazine. It is actually a tool that helps people get promoted. So my blog I've been blogging for probably 16 years. So there's a lot of content if you just search the blog on different things. That's a picture of my godson. So my blog is personal. Sometimes I give like tips of, you know, this is how you do business, but then also, the personal Pam, that my son was recently killed, and there's a blog about him there. My in-laws celebrate 70 years of marriage. That's them there. So anyway, so I'm going on and on to say that you can find things there. The podcast that I have is called Get Out There and Get Known Podcast, dropping gems every single week, and you can go and listen to that on our Heart Radio. Speakers Magazine, again, a lot of the covers are great, but also too, when you look at someone like Shannon Battle, she's just really beginning her PR journey. And so if you Google her name, you'll see some PR things are beginning to start for her. Her digital foundation is pulled together, but her pitch that we have put for her is that she's a serial entrepreneur. She's a licensed counselor, media personality, because she does Christian television, and a women's empowerment speaker. She has 5 children, and she still does all that. So she calls herself the I Can Lady, because she believes that she can. I can do all things through Christ strengthens me. So just knowing a little bit of each person, Athena Lucene, spiritual thought leader. So knowing Kadena Tate, each one of these, and I would, advise you to do this, is to look in the research other people who are in the spotlight, so to speak, on Speakers Magazine, and see how they're positioned, see how their bios are written, see the photos, see the things how they are positioned in the market, and some of the media, and Google them and see what media hits they have had. A lot of them, Erica Lynn, she's one of the speakers as well. She was on the Black News Channel, and she's gotten a lot of media hits, but starting from the bottom, now she's here, right? So a lot of it has to do with how you're positioning. So that's why branding is important before you really get the PR. And so having the right photos, the right video, having a speaker reel, having a book is really helpful. Dr. Fayola, having a lot of different pieces, having an online course, those things help really push you up so that you're interesting to the media when you're doing a story. So you can see some of the Precious Williams, some of the speakers and things that are part of Speakers Magazine. So the clients that I've worked with over the last 2 decades, like I said, speakers and authors primarily, and seasoned speakers, really, they're like my VIP clients, but then there are other clients that I coach. And so some of my coaching clients and some of my private clients are mixed on this Pinterest board that you see here. uh, you'll see that Nicole Roberts Jones has been on, like I said, she is was on Rashawn McDonald's show, which is a right-hand guy of Steve Harvey. She was on his show. She did fabulous. She was on blackdoctor.org. She streamed just on one day, like 20,000 views just on one platform, and they're on different platforms. But the thing about Nicole Roberts Jones is not only is she easy to pitch because of who she is, but she has her things together. The 7 things that I told you, what the media, what they really want. So she has we put together all of her materials. When we pitch her, we have exactly what we're going to say. Her moniker is Bankroll Your Brilliance. She speaks to women. She speaks about business. She happens to be African American. She's from Boston. So those are just what I call different legs for her story. So obviously Boston media, business, women. Then we have a good electronic press kit. And we have video of her when she was on a national television show in Atlanta. We have also a very succinct bio and a longer bio, which is in the EPK. We have a press release that talks about what's new. She has a book. So all these things matter when you're pitching the story. You're trying to give the media enough, uh, I guess you would say, enough information, and you're really trying to give them as much ammunition when they have to sell it into their producer. Those are some of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing is when you're doing that. So you want to make sure that you do that. The other thing too is when you a lot of clients are just starting out. I have them maybe do some things like cover stories of different magazines. Michael Wynn, I coached him and he had a book. And so he did a press release, and Michael Wynn ended up on a lot of the websites for CBS, Fox, NBC, and ABC. And I will say this, and I've said it before, that a lot of times when you see the logos of people that have had those, it's not necessarily that they were on those stations. So he was on the Fox station here locally, but you could be on their website and you can still use those logos. And that's by doing a press release on a press release service. A press release when it's distributed on PR Newswire or PR Log or blacknews.com, any of those things, because the news stations will pick it up and put it on their website. That's one of the things that they do. So you could see by going through some of my clients have been in Courageous Magazine. Obviously, Speakers Magazine is the first stop. Dr. Cindy Trim has been there. She's been a client of mine. Dr. Suji, I think Kat says that she saw her. We've done some things with her when her book was out. So a lot of the clients that I work with, I'm pitching their book. So that is the news. So I'm pitching it, not necessarily so that they can sell the book, but just they're the authority in that. So speakers and authors, they go together because you're an authority. The word author is in authority. So you're not authority for that. Excuse me. Hey, if anything knows anything about me, I am a dog lover. So the dog is here, but typically he's quiet. Dr. Miles Monroe, done easy to pitch him. Dr. Geneva Williams, you see that there, she started with no brand. We actually started branding her, drgenevaspeaks.com, and she ended up doing a fabulous commercial. Now she is a speaker, but she is also a advocate for living a vibrant life. She is 71 years old. Okay. The whole story about Dr. Geneva needs to be a case study because she didn't even have a domain name when we started. So now she's got like over 100 podcasts. She's won beauty pageants the first time at 69 years old. She, like I said, this is a national campaign that ran on CNN. She's been on MSNBC. So it's a whole lot of stuff. So if you give a publicist enough to work with, they can get you in places where they know there's a match. And finding the media is really key, but not just finding it, but building a relationship with the media is really important. Winning awards. Tamira Chapman, we entered her in some awards because that helps too, even before we start pitching, that sometimes a person can come to me and when we're building their brand, we'll say, you know what, let's put you in some awards, whether it's a literary award or maybe it's a 40 under 40. Those kind of things matter when you're 40 under 40 awards. So now we have news and we can picture and then she can go on and do different things. So those are just some of the things you can see that the clients, obviously TD Jakes with this book and Loretta Mormon. So every person is not a cookie cutter. Not everybody gets the same amount of media. So me, when I work with my clients, what I do is I match them not only with the media, but also partnerships with different things as well. If they're writing a book, then I help them with their forward. I help them with their testimonials. I help them put together a book trailer. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do this. So one of the things that you want to make sure that that you do when you are pulling together your materials. This is a picture of Dr. Missy Johnson. Can't see if it's backwards here. Is having the foundational of the brand things, the foundational of what your brand is. And I always have people in my Ready, Set, Go, Speak program, the system that I have. In your ready phase is the largest time that you're going to spend, like what it is. Like, what is it? What are we flushing out? What are the legs? What are the angles? What are the hooks? What is it that makes you unique? And that's really developing your brand story. Then the next phase is a set, pulling all the materials that we need, whether it's a postcard, whether it's a photo shoot, whether it's a website, whether it's your course. The set phase takes a lot of time to write, and you need to be a really good writer. And maybe you need to invest in someone that will help you put together those materials and pull them together. Then the ready, set, go phase is when you really are locating the media. Myself, I'm on Muck Rack. I'll show you this really quick. Muck Rack is a tool that I use for myself and also as a media tool. So Muck Rack, go here. Okay, muckrack.com. So myself, I'm published as a journalist, as a publisher of Speakers Magazine, but you can also find media in here as well. So what you'll find is the contact information, you'll find their phone numbers, where they are online, what type of things they've written about. This is the last article that I've written that you see that I'm talking about pitching here. So you could do that for any media that you were looking for. You could put your name in there and search. So Muckrack is not a free service, but it's a really good tool that you can use if you're serious about getting PR. So those are some of the things that you may want to do. So in terms of knowing the media, where to find the media, what to say to pitch, making sure that your message matches their medium, Muckrack will help you because it'll tell you how they like to be pitched, when not to pitch them, what not to say to them. It's a really easy tool to use. And we teach you what to say so that you don't look crazy in front of the media in the Ready, Set, Go, Speak program. And that's one of the things that people can find where they can, quote unquote, pick my brain in the monthly membership program, because it is one of those things where you're not going to know everything. You can't, because you know what you know, but you're not going to know everything. So the Ready, Set, Go, Speak program is part of that. Let's go here so you can see this. And okay. So each one of these two, if you go down here and scroll, and like I said, Nicole Roberts Jones, when you Google her name, you'll see all the media. It's got like about maybe 10 pages of media hits. You can find that. Magdalena as well. She was in the Branding Accelerator. How her brand pulled together was just like, oh, now she's together and now she knows exactly what she's pitching. Before, she was all over the place. We didn't know what she was going to do. It's like, are you going to be relationship? Are you going to be this and that? And so more is not better. Actually, less is best. So narrow your focus down. Same thing with Erica. Narrow your focus down. She showed up looking like a brand new brand, right? Carmen, Alicia, and Dr. Geneva, and you'll see all the other testimonies as well. But the Ready, Set, Go program is the one that will get you out there, get you seen, get you noticed, get you heard, so the media will find you as their darling. Find you as their darling. And that's really what we want. We want people to really find us as the media darling, as a go-to person. I've had people who have had media hits with me, and now they're regular on TV shows, right? They're regular on TV shows. They're regular on the radio show because they're being called back all the time because they did really well. So I always tell people, and the secret to any media is making sure that you know your message in the ready phase. Then in the set phase, getting the materials together, especially getting those 7 pieces of things that the media really looks for. You can go to pamperrypr.com and get that video. And then in the go phase, knowing who to target and what to say, and then speak, knowing the sound bites, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to let the interviewer interview you, and having great sound bites that are memorable. And that's an art to that. And then we do media coaching as well in the Ready, Set, Go, Speak program. So speaking of shut up, I have really recognized my time that it is time to really wrap this up. And again, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me through pamperrypr.com. I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. My favorite is LinkedIn. So if you really want to catch me and get a social media handle of how I handle things, LinkedIn is my place. Not so much an IG girl, even though I am there, but really pamperrypr.com is really where I do business. So that's it.